Okay, let's get real. Have you ever canceled plans and felt this wave of pure, unadulterated relief? Or maybe you're the person who gets genuinely more pumped for a quiet Friday night at home than some big night out. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, well, you're about to feel so seen. Because today, we're going to dive into the actual science behind why your brain craves quiet. And spoiler alert, it doesn't mean you're broken. In fact, it might just be your biggest superpower.
So let's just start with this quote, because wow, it hits different, right? It just perfectly captures a feeling that I think so many of us know way too well. Think about it, the loneliest you've ever felt. Was it really when you were physically alone, or was it in a room packed with people where you felt completely invisible? That feeling, it's not a flaw, it's a signal. It's basically your brain running a little cost-benefit analysis and going, yeah, the math on this one just isn't adding up.
And that really brings us to the central question we're tackling today. Is there something wrong with you, or is your brain just built for depth in a world that is obsessed with noise? Seriously, society has this weird obsession with equating busy and loud with being happy, with being successful. But what if your operating system is just different? What if you're not failing at life? What if you're just wired for depth, for focus, for real connection, in a world that, let's be honest, often settles for the superficial? So yeah, let's get into the why behind all of this.
Okay, first things first, we have got to completely dismantle this idea that needing solitude is some kind of character flaw. Let's just blow that myth right out of the water. It's a narrative we've all been sold, for sure, but the science? Well, it tells a completely different and, frankly, a way more interesting story.
I mean, if you're someone who prefers your own company, you've probably heard it all, right? You're cold, you're antisocial, oh, you've changed, or my favorite, you're just boring. These labels, they're easy, they're lazy, and they are flat out wrong. They mistake a preference for a problem, and they completely totally miss what's actually going on inside your head.
And this right here is such a crucial distinction to make. Loneliness versus aloneness. See, loneliness, that's a wound. It's that painful feeling of being disconnected when you don't want to be. But aloneness, that is a superpower. It's a choice. It's you actively choosing yourself. You're not running from people, you're running toward yourself. One is scarcity, the other is pure abundance.
Okay, so now let's get into the really cool stuff, the neuroscience. Because this isn't about your personality, it's not some choice you made. We're talking about your biology. The way you experience the world, everything from a loud, crowded party to a quiet room, is literally hardwired into your nervous system.
1 in 5. I mean, think about that for a second. Research shows that about 1 in every 5 people, that's 20% of the population, has a trait known as high sensory processing sensitivity. So no, you are absolutely not alone in feeling this way. You're part of a pretty significant group whose brains are just, well, they're built differently. And this analogy just brilliantly illustrates what that actually means. Imagine your brain's spam filter is just off. Most people walk into a room and their brain just deletes 90% of the sensory input. It's junk mail. But your brain? Oh no. It's processing everything at an 8K IMAX level while everyone else is just watching in 480p. You're not overthinking. Your brain is just screenshotting everything, recording it, analyzing it, cross-referencing it. Your neural network is doing exactly what it was designed to do. See the patterns that literally everyone else misses.
Yeah, and this also comes down to straight-up brain chemistry. An extrovert walks into a party and their brain throws this massive dopamine parade. It's like fireworks, a huge reward. But your brain? It runs on a different reward chemical, something called acetylcholine. And that chemical rewards things like introspection, deep focus, and quiet reflection. So you see, you're not lacking a reward system at all. Yours just gets its kicks from different, quieter sources.
So all of this brings us to a really fundamental need for people who are wired this way. The need for a sanctuary, a place where you can finally drop the performance, turn down the volume, and just be. And here is a fantastic word for this: unsociability. Now, this isn't being antisocial, that's hostility, and it's not being avoidant, that's based on fear. Unsociability is a calm, confident, and totally healthy preference for your own company. And get this, researchers who study it have found that these individuals are often doing great. They're creative, self-aware, and perfectly well-adjusted. This is exactly why your home feels so essential. It's more than a place. It's the one environment where you have what psychologists call environmental mastery. You control the light, the sound, the temperature, the whole vibe. It's not just a physical space, it's a charging station for your nervous system. Out in the unpredictable world, your battery drains. Here, this is where it charges.
And this quote from the psychologist Abraham Maslow just captures it perfectly. So the real question to ask yourself isn't, do I like being alone? It's, why do I like being alone? If it's to recharge, to create, to think, you're coming from a place of abundance. You're not running from people, you're running toward yourself.
So why do certain social situations feel like you've just run an emotional marathon? Okay, let's break it down. Let's decode the specific triggers that lead to that feeling of complete and utter exhaustion. First up, family. Ever notice how you can be like a 35-year-old CEO, but the second you walk into your childhood home, you suddenly feel 14 again? That's a real thing. It's called family systems theory. It's like an emotional time machine. You're not just showing up as your current self, you get pulled right back into the role you played as a kid. The peacemaker, the responsible one, the rebel. It's like your brain temporarily forgets you're a grown-up.
And this is why those gatherings are so incredibly draining. First, you're masking. That's the emotional labor of pretending you're fine for everyone else's sake. You're fighting not to get sucked into those old roles. You're at the comparison festival, where every question about your job or your life can actually activate the pain centers in your brain. And your personal boundaries? Poof, they often feel like mere suggestions. Is it any wonder you need a week to recover?
And okay, what about having people over to your space? Hosting is not one task. It's like 7,000 microtasks all at once. It's a massive cognitive load. You're not just cleaning, you're doing the guest clean, where you suddenly notice dust you've never seen before. You're not just offering drinks, you're running a full-service beverage hotel. It's not about the mess, it's about the sheer mental gymnastics of turning your sanctuary into a performance venue. And finally, crowds. Your brain has these things called mirror neurons that help you empathize with people. But if you have high sensitivity, yours are on steroids. You walk into a room and you don't just observe other people's emotions, you literally download them. You become an emotional sponge, accidentally absorbing the stress, the anxiety, the chaos of hundreds of people at once. It is pure psychological overload. Okay, so after all that, it might feel like this whole wiring thing is a burden, right? But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? Let's reframe these traits. Let's stop seeing them as weaknesses and start seeing them for what they really are. Powerful, unique strengths.
So let's flip the script. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's a finely tuned radar. You see what's really going on beneath the surface. You spot insincerity from a mile away. Your need for quiet isn't antisocial. It is the optimal environment for your creativity to just flourish. You're not socially inept. You might actually be so socially sophisticated that you just refuse to play pretend. These are not deficits, they are superpowers.
This right here says it all. You're not antisocial, you're anti-BS. You don't hate people, you hate the performance. You're not missing out on life. You are consciously opting out of a version of it that was never designed for people who think deeply, feel deeply, and see deeply. You've simply chosen your integrity over being a part of everything. So let's end with this one thought and let it really sink in. Protecting your sanctuary, giving yourself the space and the quiet you need to function, it isn't selfish. It is not a failure to be social. It is the ultimate act of self-awareness. It's recognizing how your unique brain works and giving it exactly what it needs to thrive. It is finally showing up for yourself.